Not every week we watch the news or understand the real issues. Adama Sillar is on assignment to take you through the issues making the news. On Assignment brings you an incisive take on topical issues and in-depth views with those shaping and dissecting them. Watch On Assignment and understand these issues: finance, education, gender, social, cultural, and more, including the untapped tourism sector. On Assignment on SLBC TV.
Hello viewers, welcome to On Assignment here on the Sillar Broadcasting Corporation SLBC. This is a program that takes an in-depth look on issues and of course interviews with those shaping them. In today's edition of On Assignment, we are at the Environment Protection Agency, Sierra Leone. So many of you have heard about EPA, and when disaster occurs, EPA is most times the first point of contact. But what is the mandate of EPA? Who are they? What do they do? And how have they been striving hard to address the issue of the environment in the country? In today's edition of the program, we're going to know all about that. And also, concerns have been raised with regard to spike in charcoal prices. What is responsible for the spike? In this edition of the program, we shall also know about that. Stay tuned for the next 45 minutes as we're going to talk to people and let us hear what are some of their concerns. We're going to start with the Executive Director of the Environment Protection Agency, Sierra Leone. They're going to tell us why is it that they decided to take the stance, and also we'll go to the field and see what is happening. I'm sure you would want to be part of everything we're going to discuss in this edition of On Assignment right here on the Sillar Broadcasting Corporation SLBC. Hi. Pleasure. How are you, sir?
Good.
Okay. Okay. So can we?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you, Dr. Fode M. Jawad. So tell us, for the benefits of our viewers, you're the Executive Director of the Environment Protection Agency, Sierra Leone. Before we come to talk about EPA, what's your work, what you do, and other issues of concern with regards to the environment, first of all, our viewers would like to know who is Dr. Fode M. Jawad.
Thank you very much. Viewers, prior to coming here, I was a professor at the University of South Florida in the US, and I have been doing environmental related issues, dealing with them for the past 20 years. I have a wealth of experience and publications, of course, and I'm well versed in grant writing and everything dealing with the environment.
You've been in the US and you're a professor, and I'm sure everything about you has to do with the environment and your passion for it. Now, coming back to Sierra Leone, working for your country, how does this feel? You've been away for quite a while, and here now you're coming here to Sierra Leone. You might have observed some differences working abroad and working here. Your experience, your expertise. How does it feel like coming back home and working for your home country?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a great question. I must start by thanking the President, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio, for giving me this opportunity to serve my country. As I said, I have lived abroad for most of my adult life, and I believe the impact I'm creating here is far, far better than what I was doing in the US.
All right, now let's come to EPA proper. You see, Doc, when disaster occurs in Sierra Leone, most citizenry of this country, their first point of contact is the EPA. I'm sure you know that. You know, tell us about the EPA. What's your mandate? Because over time, when disaster occurs, we've had, people will say, well, this does not have to do with the EPA, this has to do with the ONS, this has to do with the meteorological department. There is this kind of a confusion amongst the citizens of Sierra Leone as to what is it EPA is set out to do as Environment Protection Act of 2008, and what is it you are not, and what is it that is your mandate, and what is not your mandate. So for the benefit of our viewers, you would like to state what's the mandate of EPA as the executive director of this agency? What do you do?
Yeah, thank you very much. The EPA, or the Environment Protection Agency, was created in 2008 and the act was amended in 2010. We have one sole mandate, that is to regulate all environmental issues in this country. Of course, in doing that, we advise the government on policies related to environmental issues. A lot of things happen, and you're right, they always say it's EPA doing that. But we have ONS who are actually responsible for disaster management. We have NPA who are responsible for forestry under the Ministry of Agriculture. But since we are dealing with the environment, I think we shoulder that responsibility in trying to cater for all environmental issues and advise the government on climate change issues, on disaster management, as the case may be, even though some of them fall outside our purview.
But you work in close collaboration with all of these institutions you've made mention of?
Correct. And that is where I'm really happy, because when I got this job, I had to talk to people that environmental issues cannot be solved by one entity or by one person. We have to work as a group. And that has paid a lot of dividend. We saw for the past year or two, there has been very little flooding in Freetown municipality, simply because we have been working with the Freetown City Council, we have been working with ONS in trying to strategize to mitigate some of these flooding issues. And let me also add that whenever these things happen, you see that all of us are on board together. Like the last flooding incident that happened, I was together with the mayor, with the ONS director. So we are really working together. And environmental issues must be solved by all of us, not only one person.
Right. Now, of course, in terms of addressing environmental issues, one of which has to do with, climate change. This is a concern to so many. Let's come to talk about charcoal burning. In as much as we would want to go to, to the field to see the massive work that EPA has been doing, and we also share with you the concerns of the people. What are some of the concerns they have been raising, at least for us to get the message across? What's your intervention as an agency with regards to the issue of charcoal burning in Sierra Leone?
Thank you very much. Another great question. The first thing is education, awareness. When I took up this job, I realized that not many people even knew what EPA means. And so we try to educate the masses to tell people that when you drink from a plastic, or when you don't throw your trash on the floor or on the ground, because it ends up contaminating or polluting some other areas. So that is what we have been doing. Now, about the charcoal, this is great. We all know that charcoal is a product of wood. You cut down trees to make charcoal. What does that mean? We are exposing us, everybody here, to this adverse climate change. Now, we all realize that we are seeing different trends. More flooding is taking place, higher temperatures. We are seeing this global warming. And what is this global warming? The atmosphere is heating up. Why is this? Because we are cutting down trees, and we all know that trees give out oxygen, which we take, and we give out carbon dioxide. So if we cut down trees, these trees are no longer there to sequester the carbon dioxide. And what happens? These are the greenhouse gases. One of them, they go into the atmosphere and they heat up the environment. So we are seeing rising temperature, we are seeing sea rise. So those are the issues. But what have we done as an agency? Well, we have educated the masses across the Freetown area and even in the provinces. We have been to the grafting community, to Rugbangba, to Hastings, and we've told them that if you burn charcoal, you are not only harming the environment, you are also harming yourself, because you inhale some of these toxic chemicals, and this could lead to death sometimes, or lead to a lot of health problems.
Are you confirming that the burning of charcoal is actually suicidal for those involved in it?
Correct. It can be suicidal, because we all know that these people are just burning the charcoal with no PPE involved. They just expose themselves. They inhale some of these toxic. So besides the climate change effect, is also very, very hazardous to us. And when you cut down the trees, what are you doing? You are also cutting down, you are increasing erosion, because whenever it rains, these trees were there to the roots of these trees to uphold the soil. It's no longer there.
Now, Dr. Jawad, you know, as you engage those people who are engaged into the act of charcoal burning, amidst some of the concerns they shared with you, was there any that has to do with it is their source of livelihood?
Yes, that is true. And that is where we have come in. We have provided alternative livelihoods for these people. Let me give you a clear example. There is a chiefdom in Moyamba district. That's a chiefdom. When I came over, charcoal burning was the main bread basket for a lot of people, the youths, the women. So we got a small proposal and we went there. We were able to engage them, to convince them that charcoal burning is depleting the environment. So what we did was to provide alternative livelihoods for these people. We provided food materials, we provided money in terms of cash, agricultural materials, and seedlings to plant these seedlings so that they can also benefit. Because I understand, if you just take something from somebody, you have to replace it with something.
What of homes? People that are using charcoal in their homes?
That is also wrong, because in fact, if you use charcoal in your home and it's enclosed, it can lead to incomplete combustion, and that can lead to carbon monoxide instead of carbon dioxide, and this automatically can
Are there measures you've put in place for those involved into the act if you found them wanting? Is there any price they have to pay? Is there any fine, or any law being set aside that if you're found doing this is what is going to happen? Is there anything of such?
Yes, we are doing that, and we're also following that with monitoring and compliance. And the great thing that has happened to this country, or the whole of West Africa, is the establishment of an environmental court.
All right. Dr. Jawad, there's a lot to talk about, but of course, it's a pleasure having you in this edition of On Assignment. We want to go to the field and see what is it EPA is doing, and we'll also bring you the concerns of people out there, citizenry, who have been sharing their views with us as with regards, the intervention of EPA in stopping charcoal burning. What are their own constraints? What are their own concerns? It's a pleasure having you. Thanks very much. We hope to have you in subsequent edition of our programs. Well, that's it. And he's Dr. Fode Jawad. He's the Executive Chairperson of the Environment Protection Agency, Sierra Leone. Continue to stay with us. We'll bring you more insight, updates on the issue of charcoal burning. What are some of the concerns the people of Sierra Leone have been sharing with us, and how you too can be part of it. But don't forget, we're live on Facebook, Adama Sillar Official. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube, Adama Sillar Official, or On Assignment. Don't forget to like our page, send in your comments, send us a text message on the number 099-485-553. Share with us your concerns, and we'll pass them on to the right authorities.
Not every week we watch the news or understand the real issues. Adama Sillar is on assignment to take you through the issues making the news. On Assignment brings you an incisive take on topical issues and in-depth views with those shaping and dissecting them. Watch On Assignment and understand these issues: finance, education, gender, social, cultural, and more, including the untapped tourism sector. On Assignment on SLBC TV.
Well, viewers, presently we're at Hastings, Ubangba community, one of the areas that was widely known for charcoal burning. We want to see what are some of the steps taken by the Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone to put a stop to this as a way of addressing climate change and other environmental hazards. And we're going to talk to one of the staffs of the Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone, who is going to tell us more about, some of the moves they have made and address some of the pressing concerns by citizens with regards to the spike in charcoal prices and some of the constraints they too as citizens have been faced with as a result of this action. With me here is Mr. Sheko Sako. He is a staff of the Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone. Now, welcome to On Assignment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us here, to talk about the issue of charcoal burning, the strides taken by the Environment Protection Agency to put a stop to this as a way of addressing climate change, and also, to talk to the people of Sierra Leone as to the reason why EPA has embarked on this drive, and how you as an agency too has taken into consideration their own concern. Now, you would want to tell us, I see there's a vast field, and I see a lot of, it seems as if this place was known for charcoal burning, and it's really a big area. You want to just give us an overview of where this is, what was actually going on here?
Yes, at the moment here we are at Hastings Airfield. This is one of the few communities or few areas where we had a series of industrial charcoal activities. 3 months back, if you come to this place, you will not be able to see 50 meters from here because you see so many smoke around. And as a country, we're experiencing the impact of climate change, and the charcoal activities is not just an environmental concern, it is also a public health concern. We have communities living within these environs, and during the time the charcoal activities was extremely prominent within Hastings Airfields, Hastings community, Hastings Wharf, Hastings Ubangba. Owners of properties within this area had find it very difficult to even live within their property. And Sierra Leone, we've already been hit by the problems of climate change. We're seeing variation in rainfall patterns. We're experiencing flooding impact. We're experiencing mudslides, a host of other natural disasters. And we have been categorized as the third most vulnerable country in the world with respect to climate change disasters. Not just because they want to categorize us, it's as a result of our own activities. And charcoal activities at the center of the town, at the middle of Freetown, where this is one of the government places. This is an airfield that government has planned to expand. People were residing here. This place was a whole camp. So when we realized that this issue was an alarming one, what we did was to engage communities. We called them, all of them, to a meeting. We sat down with them and explained to them the negative impact of their activities and how it poses serious public health risk, and also how it poses environmental threat, not just to them but to the country as large. Okay,
now, so immediately after you had this engagement with committee members, what was the next step taken? Of course,
when it comes to livelihood issues, people ask for extension, but if you want to address environmental issues, you must have what we call, you must give some time limits, some time frame for people to get themselves together, especially when it involves livelihood issues. So we were asked to give them 30 days, we were asked to give them 21 days. So we gave them a period of almost 2 months.
Okay. So,
and guess what? Even when that long period was given to them, the charcoal activity keeps expanding within communities, keep expanding within the airfield, keep expanding within Ubangba, and other areas started facing the same problems.
Now, you made mention earlier on that when it comes to livelihood issues, it's most times difficult, to intervene. So, with regards to livelihood issues, an agency, did did you at any point in time take that into consideration, being that it's a source of livelihood for them?
Yes. That was the main reason why we gave them enough time to at least look for other alternatives. You know, the charcoal activities became prominent when people started experiencing the importance of the waste that comes from the timber processing. So people started gathering themselves together, start building up charcoal kilns to produce charcoal as a means of livelihood. There were no charcoal activities here.
But
going down the line,
looking for another alternative, did you further sat down with them, to brainstorm on other alternatives?
We had several engagements. We have several community meetings. We gave them several options. One of the key mandates of the agency is to see how we can work with communities in line with proper environmental management strategies. What we did was, because a larger part of the population here, we are women and young girls, so we engaged them. We encourage them to form cooperatives, and those cooperatives have been established. And if you go back the news or archives of the EPA, you'll see how we supported communities to see how they can take the leadership in environmental management. And this is one community where those women, those charcoal burners were engaged, formed into cooperatives. We are going to support them in other form of livelihood. But indeed, yes, because there is livelihood attached, we had wanted to avoid any form of confrontation. We had serious collaboration with the airport authority. We had collaboration with the military Air Force wing here. We had tremendous support from them, and we were able to get rid of this activity. Initially, if you come here, trust me, Adama, you will not be able to stand here for like 1 minute, because you will not be able to breathe in clean oxygen.
But is this the only place?
We will take you around to other places. We will take you to the communities. We will take you down the coast. As you see, even when several engagements have been done, even when we've enforced the ban, because Section 53 gives us the mandate. Any activity that poses threats to the environment or to public health, we have a mandate to stop it. It was against that particular provision in our act that we had the press release, we did the engagement, and we placed a stop to all forms of charcoal activities. But as you see down there, people are still non-compliant.
So when it comes to non-compliance, what are some of the laws, or the punishment you have outlined, that if you're found wanting of this act that has been banned, you have to face this. You want to outline so that people will understand that this is for the consequences.
In line with the act, it says it says clearly in the act that any activity that pose threat to public health or to the environment, we have a mandate to stop it. And if you fail to stop, you will be taken to court and you pay a fine not exceeding 50 million, or you go to jail with minimum 2 year sentences.
All right.
So in as much we want to see how we can provide a human face to community, in as much we also have a mandate for collaboration. This is why we've engaged the military wing here. We engaged the Sierra Leone Airport Authority, because this property we're standing here belongs to the Sierra Leone Airport Authority, and there are plans of the government to extend this runway to see how they can extend or improve on the facilities the airport, Sierra Leone Airport, will provide for us. So we also looked at it as a concern on the environment. The military here gave their support. So it was as a result of such collaboration we were able to get rid of this. It's not just a one-day fight. We are going to stand by it, and we are also going to continue engaging them to see how we can help in providing other form of livelihood.
Now, before I ask you my next question, you would just want to clarify with regards to the charcoal burning. Is it that it's only prohibited within Freetown, or is it that you're considering other parts of the country where you're trying to put a stop to it?
Of course, there is no law in this country, including our environmental laws, that provides the legality for charcoal activities. The law clearly states any activity that poses serious threat to public health, serious threat to the environment, it's illegal.
So you're targeting the provinces as well?
Yes, this is all over, because we cannot sit down very few people, because of their livelihood benefits, risk the lives of millions of people in this country. We saw what happened at Motome. We experienced the September flooding 2 or 3 years back. We saw lives that were lost, properties that were lost. We will not want to face such situation anymore in this country. So we are going to take the bull by the horn. We are going to ensure we engage communities. It is being done in phases. Because I will tell you for free, when we engage communities within the Hastings Wharf and Hastings Wobamba, some people were telling us, what did this charcoal do to we? So it's like they were not aware of the negative impact.
So what are you, as an agency, in as much as you're working so hard to address environmental issues, what is it that you're expecting citizens to resolve to? Is it that they must go to, cooking with gas and totally desist from using charcoal? Is that the point you're making?
Yes, well, yes, we want people to move to LPG. But as it is, because we are more used to charcoal, we are engaging other partners. Recently, we had a meeting with GIZ. A consultant is here from Ethiopia to see how we can share experience, to see how we can have what we call sustainable production and utilization of charcoal. There are other forms of producing charcoal. I will tell you for free, Adama, you can produce charcoal from other waste. You can produce charcoal from chicken waste. You can produce charcoal from other forms. So we want to see how we can explore all those other opportunities to see how we can produce charcoal in a sustainable manner.
One I want to ask, why is it that you have not gone to that point of, trying to brainstorm, come up with better strategies before putting a stop to it? Why not produce an alternative before putting a stop to, what is it you
already, Adama, we've already produced an alternative. Now, because it's supposed to be in a very large scale, it's a process. We've done pilot activities. If you go to Cambia, you have production of charcoal using other forms of materials and not from timber, from forest resources. You can produce charcoal even from the grasses around your compounds.
Now, quickly, before we go, now, we have been talking to lots of citizens within the municipality of Freetown, and some of the concerns, they are so aggrieved that the prices of charcoal, there's a spike in the prices of charcoal from 30,000 to now 45,000, and this is what they are used to. We've been moving around places, talking to people. So, as an agency, what message would you want to send to the citizenry of this country for them to understand that this is not just about depriving them, but it's about handling or trying to address environmental issue, which is an everyday issue, which of course is a serious concern to all and sundry?
Adama, the environment is what protects us. If you have clean air, it's because of the environment. If you have clean water, it's because of the environment. If you can have food, it's because of the environment. When you have a healthy environment, you'll be able to produce food so we can feed on. The environment is what protects us. If we fail to protect the environment, how do we expect ourselves to survive in Mother Earth? So we have to make sacrifices, and we have a responsibility, not just for ourselves, but for our children yet unborn. The environment was passed on to us by our forefathers, by our great-great-grandfathers. We also have the responsibility to pass this environment in a sustainable manner, in a situation where it is being kept in a healthy state. Our children yet unborn cannot pay the price for our activities. We have a responsibility to protect the environment. All of us want to survive. If we cannot protect the environment, we can't live as human beings.
Thank you very much, Sako. It's a pleasure having you. Well, that's a representative, staff of the Environment Protection Agency, Sierra Leone. Of course, we want to talk to, a few other people just to get their views, for us to understand, what is happening. We'll also share the concerns we have been getting. We'll be moving around to various places, talking to people from their household to where they do business. But we'll bring in their views to you as we move on with the program.
Not on Assignment brings you an incisive take on topical issues and in-depth views with those shaping and dissecting them. Watch On Assignment and understand these issues: finance, education, gender, social, cultural, and more, including the untapped tourism sector. On Assignment on SLBC TV.
Well, viewers, so we just want you to see the present acts of charcoal burning. As we've heard from representatives from the Environment Protection Agency, Sierra Leone, this is suicidal. For them, they consider this very act to be suicidal, and more so the reason why they're, they're trying to put a stop to it, because even the people engaged in the act of charcoal burning is not safe for their health. So this is what we're seeing. This is the present act, but as we made mention, they have been trying so hard to put a stop to it, but people are still engaging in the act. So we just bumped into them and they're trying to just get rid of everything. Amidst that, we were made to understand that people reside within this community and it's very, very difficult for them because they inhale a lot of smoke, and even so, there is a school and a hospital just within the surrounding, and that's why they have tried, to get rid of these people and engage in the charcoal burning in this Hastings airfield. But nonetheless, despite we have the military personnel here trying to, to get rid of this, we want to talk to the people themselves who are engaged into this very act to just hear from them. We just want to get their own views. We just want to know what are their concerns. I'm sure they might want to talk to us. Then we don't try to put a stop to charcoal burning, especially in this community. So why is it that we are still engaged in this act?
We do that there because right now the cost of living is not easy for we. Now for this school here right now they survive for work no day. Even now they take care of we picking them for we and call you don't see. So now they make we do that for.
Okay, but if PAB don't engage una before, don't give una some time, for make una find other thing do, because this as they say it bad for una health. Now something where they kill, like you they kill yourself. So why is it that una not be take all that into consideration, decide for moving to something else?
We try, but we say for right now for go put some powder business, easy. Easy. Pass this school business no more now they able to sustain. Right now, we two family there, you don't see. And for the health business moon then tell we bring now make we bring we wait and call so they take treatments. We need sit down so no more. Any week we take treatment for that we buy with medicine there. Okay. Because for right now it's not easy.
Okay. But when a member say then we don't put law say anybody when they catch they do this act to pay 50 million euros. When I know of Dandy.
I'm not aware of Dandy, man.
You're not aware of that they not be passed on that message to and I make una still engage in the act?
Me not be aware for that day. I don't know for the other one day, but me not be aware for that day.
Okay. So whose message you go want for send out to Papa government? I know say you as one salon post yourself must get your own concern.
Me the only message no more me they send to Papa government, let government sorry for we. Them being no say right now not easy for we the layman there.
So una still want continue for burn the charcoal despite government on sale for put a stop?
We not go able to stand government. Now sorry no more they for sorry for we because for we all live in one. Because if you then stop we right now pass we go end up for thief. Now then they no more. And we moon with that against thief.
Okay, so, all right. Plenty thank you. You know, one woman at this community so where the born coal. What to make when I still engage in this act? Government don't say for stop them, not so just because of the one for wicked unana, because it's bad for the health, it kill.
Yes. So what to make they do so? We no bring for say government no aware for that day. We know that day. But right now business bring go easy go buy business. What I said no easy. So this school here, now make a fashion and so no, they don't advise not to want not to tutor. They don't pull me up and down, then pull you back, they can catch you back. But still they come over and so that they can bring before can advise you say when I left this pass will bake there. They say no they take big. They now then loot it dandy. Now dandy then send for. Then any I will not agree, they support nobody for Sillar want to. Now we no more because of we not get we survive with me people we picking there. Right now we picking the all in our school. Kind like we so. Me man you don't say we don't die. You don't love me picking the all. Right now no get no salary survive. So now I make right now they pandand. No if you say not talent government to not talent I feel. But if you not some help they able to help me. We say well survive with picking there. Do say they can help over there right now business money. If you have business money now we able get. So they are accept now plan. We see able to buy cancel free tire.
So if they go na business money, una go stop for bunch.
Me like me so I say to God I left. I say to God me. Because one morning I said to God, who's the suffer this rain me na for me done. This day no done so this last night. I said to God now under rain I did say to clean. So kind of like we so if you just stop me down there then give me business money. I said to God I left. Because they survived me with me picking there, with my family there.
So this is where they are presently burning the charcoal, and this here is a makeshift structure put up by people within this community just so they can engage in their charcoal burning. We see what's happening here. They're cooking from this end, and here is where, you know, they spend some time as they move on with their work. These are some of the issues we have been looking at. How do government address some of those pressing challenges in this community? You've heard from their concerns. This is on assignment here on the Sillar Broadcasting Corporation SLBC. Please be reminded that you can be a sponsor to this program. Reach out to us on the number 099-485-553 and sponsor the work we do. You can also catch us live on our social media channels. Get us on Adama Sillar Official on Facebook. We're also on YouTube at On Assignment. You can also call or send a text to the number 099-485-553. We want to continue. The program continues. We'll talk to more people and hear the concerns of people in their households, people that are doing businesses, and see what are some of the things they have to say to us.
Watch On Assignment and understand these issues: finance, education, gender, social, cultural, and more, including the untapped tourism sector. On Assignment on SLBC TV.
Viewers, this is Robangba community. What we just showed you, this is a finished product. Upon burning down the timber, we have seen a lot of smoke. So this is what happens. This is the packaging. Yes, into a sack. Yes, as you can see. So this is what goes into homes. And this is what the Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone is trying to put a stop to. So as to address the issue of climate change. For them, this is suicidal. But, okay, so now you don't package this charcoal?
Yeah.
Now you burn them?
Yeah.
So why you not involved into charcoal burning? Government don't try for put a stop to that. You're a young lady. So why you do this?
Well, I did one because my mama don't die, papa don't die, so I not gonna pay school fee for me. So now the only thing this way I go able to do, I go able to pay school fee for myself.
Okay, so once when I can done burn and done, what the next one I can do before when I get this?
Well, we can cut grass, get on dirty, we get on fire before you're able to turn to cool.
Okay, then after which one I knock for?
Yes.
You know, but you know, say Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone, as they don't join on with their partners, they don't say anybody wouldn't catch into this act, it'll pay 50 million euros. You know about that?
Well, I don't know much about that.
You don't know much about that law at all. They're not being engaged on that before this time. Okay. So now government is say for put a stop to this. But you say now a source of livelihood for you. Whose message you go on for send out to Papa government?
Well, me own message me they send. Now how would they get to survive and how will you live? If they say they pull it, they will clear right now. No go able get what they do. We no go able. We no go in the streets with the hang bag, do all that thing. So now we open source and cold. But if they say they stop we no go able get to. And my mother don't die, Papa don't die. I no go able get outside they get living. So now I decide for do this work.
Not every week we watch the news or understand the real issues. Adama Sillar is on assignment to take you through the issues making the news. On Assignment brings you an incisive take on topical issues and in-depth views with those shaping and dissecting them. Watch On Assignment and understand these issues: finance, education, gender, social, cultural, and more, including the untapped tourism sector. On Assignment on SLBC TV.
Viewers, the program you're watching is On Assignment on SLBC TV. We have been talking to residents within the Hastings Airfield community who are engaged into charcoal burning. But what's happening to people who are actually using this charcoal? Today we want to talk to, women who are involved into cookery selling to just get their own point of view, because we have been receiving concerns from them with regards to spike in charcoal prices. We're at a particular point, and at this point in time we'll talk to people from this vicinity who are actually selling food so people coming here to buy. Let's go in and talk to them. How you do?
I do fine.
Okay, so welcome to On Assignment. Now, we want to know, actually, you dey use charcoal for cook?
Yes, I dey use charcoal for cook.
How often should they use them for cook? You dey use them fast or not just one time you can use?
The tawa we dey use that time we dey pay them 20,000. But now when na 45,000, 40,000 we dey buy, you no dey able cook for it 2 days safe. Yes.
So wetin are some of the reasons then? One way they can sell you una the charcoal. Wetin make them tell una say the charcoal price don't go up?
They say because of the price of the motor car them, and they charge them. So now make them say face the price.
Okay. But they not tell una say authorities them like EPA, don't put a stop to charcoal burning. They just They tell una that?
They tell me. They say they don't stop them for cut stick and for burn a bush.
So now that make them safely.
Yes.
Okay, but as you now one person that you they get your source of livelihood. You ever get information say for use charcoal for cook is bad for your health?
Well, I don't ever know that it. I don't ever know that it.
Nobody ever tell you.
Nobody ever tell me.
Okay, but so you think say you go able for use gas for cook you cookery, it go be enough for you for do?
No, gas cook cannot go cook for me because the kind pots so they use for cook, them big pots them, no go able. Then I don't understand how for use them. I don't understand. So I prefer use charcoal or wood.
Message you go want for send to Papa government. What do you want for make them do for you? As one woman within this community where they sell cookery to people them and they are so safe na South you said they get you livelihood.
Well, with the big government for less sorry for we. The coal in price is too heavy. It's too heavy. We're not go able. Do you have Papa government? With the big for less sorry for we let the price they all go down.
Well, these are some of the views we've been getting. Amidst all of this, it's important to know that people who are actually even using the charcoal don't know the effects of charcoal to their health. We're considering it to be suicidal, but how many people know that burning charcoal is actually suicidal? Well, these are some of the concerns as we've heard from her. This is the only source of livelihood for them, and there is no way they can stop using it. We're just from another part and now we're at another spot. But before we talk to her, we want to have a taste of the food she's cooking. Let's just see how it tastes like. And I'm sure my producer is also Oh, wow. Cassava leaves. As we've been saying, we move around at different locations them for talk to people them where they sell cookie. Make we hear waiting that some of them self your concern with regards to spike in charcoal prices. I get with me one famous cookie woman where they call Auntie T. Now charcoal you they use for cook all the time?
Yes.
So how much a bag the charcoal now?
I buy 35,000 for bag.
What's how you can buy them?
I can go market.
Are the only spots and the way you get for buy charcoal?
I can go buy at the counter for me.
The charcoal price, it go up or not just the same like how you don't use for the buyer?
Also they buy 20,000, 25, go 30. Now they say 40,000, but me they buy 35,000. If I get customer, what they buy too.
But it tell you the reason why to make them put the charcoal price up.
I don't no reason. I don't get no reason.
So charcoal are the only thing where you use for cooking. You get other means of cooking. You get other tweaking.
And charcoal no more they cook for the past 20 years. Like coal they use for cook.
The past 20 years you don't cook with charcoal. Somebody don't ever tell you say charcoal dangerous for your health, like when you cook with time it will affect you. Because don't ever tell you that.
No. Now wood no mommy no say dangerous for cook with. But if coal, you not get no problem for cook.
Now, the Environment Protection Agency alone, we don't put one ban on people where they burn charcoal. Say they're not supposed to burn charcoal because it cause harm to the environment and even to human health. That's one of the reasons where people they share concerns. Say this don't make themselves they find them very difficult to get charcoal. You think saying that the right thing Environment Protection Agency do as one businesswoman where they use charcoal for cook food?
We not feel saying that the right thing that because we don't use for cook with them. So I don't see no effect where they cause in a million life. So I don't know what they mean by that.
But this the price where they put up at the charcoal, it affects your business in any way?
Yeah, they affect you now because the coal on there. How will they buy first, not to so they buy now?
So then they make yourself put prices up at the food, yeah. Or you just left and so?
I just left and so because that's what normally they sell. I just left and so for the meantime. Those waiting they happen.
Whose message you self would like for send to Papa government and all people that they watch you right now? Which message you want for send out?
I don't know. Papa government pass here, any kind of waiting them allow the people there and tell we don't let them provide that for we. Because as we not able to provide for ourselves. Pass here.
As you've been hearing from people we have been talking to, well, these are some of the concerns they have shared with us. Nonetheless, we have enjoyed a wonderful time, the food and everything. And that's as a result of the charcoal they used to cook. Some of them say it's quite easier. For them, it's cheaper as they can't afford another means. But here it is. The Environment Protection Agency has got their own concerns with regards to charcoal burning. We went to Hastings Airfield and we saw how charcoal was being burnt. Actually, it's quite suicidal. We can't even stand the smoke, even for 30 seconds. This is what so many Sierra Leoneans go through just to have a source of living. But how do we change that? How do we address the issue of climate change? We need to start looking into factors of such. As a country, we all have a responsibility in terms of maintaining our environment. Don't forget, the program you've been watching is on assignment. We'll continue with the environment in our next edition of the program. I want to say thanks to my producer, Johnny King. Please remember that you can sponsor this program. This program is open up for adverts. You can send in your advert. Just call the number 099-485-553. Send us a message. Visit us on our Facebook page at Adama Sillar Official. Till then, when this program shall return, I have been your presenter, Adama Sillar, saying ta-ta.
Not every week we watch the news or understand the real issues. Adama Sillar is on assignment to take you through the issues making the news. On Assignment brings you an incisive take on topical issues and in-depth views with those shaping and dissecting them. Watch On Assignment and understand these issues: finance, education, gender, social, cultural, and more, including the untapped tourism sector. On Assignment on SLBC TV.